just another day. You know, it made me feel so tired. For the day I met you, life was so unkind. But you're the key to my peace of mind. You make me feel, you make me feel, you make me feel like a natural woman.
So, talking more about technology, you're on the social media
Again,
quite a
way.
bit.
I'm trying to cut back.
Maybe more. So,
I'm working on it.
Yeah, I just killed mine.
yeah. Well, I'm curious. That's like unplugging from the Matrix, man. Like,
Yeah, I
why?
know.
That's a radical
Man,
decision.
it's a total waste of time. I think
Really?
social media is good for some people.
Yeah.
For me, it's not, because like I'm an outspoken person, and so like it's sometimes I just don't know when to shut up.
Yeah.
So like I think it's just best for me to just unplug.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day,
Yeah.
you're the reason for all your own problems. So I just have decided to like remove that.
Yeah. Might be healthy.
It,
long
well,
run.
it sucks because there are a lot of cool people that I've met and things that have been afforded to me because of it.
Mhm.
But you know, it's not a positive thing. So
Yeah, for sure. So, but you were really, really involved with the, I
Yeah.
saw you all the time make all
Right,
these kind of
right,
posts.
right.
Right on. So you heard, I know, about this, if you want to call it incident, this thing with Dean Lister
Yeah.
doing a seminar. Do you know what I'm talking
No.
about? Oh, you didn't? Okay. You actually, I think you probably read a little bit more about than I did. 'cause
yeah,
I couldn't find the video.
basically,
Yeah.
Dean Lister was doing a seminar at school, and he asked for a volunteer to show a technique, and basically he had a girl, and he got behind her, or no, he got her behind him, and so like. She's like, all right, so your opponent grabs behind you, da da da, and then he's like, they grab your hand and they start like, and he made this motion like she's jacking him off,
Mhm.
right? And like, and they laughed about it, and like they just went on with whatever they were gonna do, and so the internet got a hold to it and just went crazy. You know, Dean Lister's, you know, such an evil guy. You know, like this is horrible. Like, you know, what do we do about this as a community? When really and truly, like even the girl who was involved was like. She came out and was like,
Yeah, it was funny.
It was funny, and I don't care. You know, like it was
Yeah.
a joke, and yet
Yeah.
people are still pissy about it. You know, and still
Oh,
like
it's
calling for his
amazing.
head, and like, you know, you're just not even allowed to make a joke anymore.
But,
you know, it's
yeah.
just crazy.
People's reaction to this, because I usually don't. Well, I post a little bit on the Facebook, and I usually don't post with on contentious topics, but I almost felt compelled. So I posted a picture of the girl. I forgot her name. The girl who was the subject of the video, of her response, which is that, look, this was a joke. I am not a victim. I think Dean's a cool guy and a good instructor, so everybody chill out. And you think that would like have kind of killed the discussion, but no.
No.
People's the way they're talking about this guy, it's like Dean Lister had been throwing kittens off of a skyscraper into a pile of nails. Like,
Dude,
people were quoting the Bible. It was just completely off the hook.
It's. I've been on internet forums and social media long enough to know it's people are so predictable.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
just like when something like this happens, you have just an outrage of like the mad villagers with pitchforks and
Yeah.
flames, like like when all these assholes have done stupid things too. You know,
Yeah.
like no one's perfect here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, if you don't think it's funny, that's fine. And if she was offended, I could possibly see, you know, people being upset about it. But if the girl comes out and says that she doesn't have a problem, then I'm sorry you don't get your closure. You know, you don't get to like see the guy burn. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
If there's no problem, there's no problem. You know, you got upset about it, but I mean, you're really not even involved. You don't even know either person.
Yeah.
You know, but you feel that because you have this, you know, soapbox of social media that like people give a fuck about what you say. When really most of them don't.
It's back to the center of the universe. Like,
Exactly,
everyone
exactly.
thinks everything is only about and only their opinion, and yeah.
I think people love that feeling of righteous anger. Like the idea of being really pissed off,
Yeah.
but for a reason, because you're taking a stand and Dean Lister is a bad guy and you're standing up for women's rights.
Right.
And no.
But there's no, and the greatest part is there's no actual consequence. Like you can get on there and be like,
Yeah.
fuck you, I will kick Dean Lister's ass if I ever see him for what he did.
Right.
Yeah.
And knowing you'll never see Dean Lister or even have an attempt to beat him up.
Right.
But it happens a lot. I've noticed just the way people communicate on social media. It does get very, very haughty. Very, again, a lot of
People
righteous
just say
anger.
things that they would never
Yeah.
say in real life.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. Everyone's
I've
very
come across
upright.
it 1,000 times.
That
you know?
and you get no emotion out of, like, if I write, hey Josh, fuck you, Josh is going to take it as funny. Someone else might think I'm talking shit to
Context
Josh.
is so easily,
Yeah.
right. Constant battle.
And it's got me thinking, like, because a lot of people put on a bit of a facade, especially because your online persona is kind of what you would like to be.
Yeah.
It's the kind of human being you imagine yourself as. So what if we, everybody, I don't think this would ever happen, but it's just an idea, started posting in a way that was completely honest? What if we were really, really forthright about everything? I mean everything we did over the course of... I think that would really change the way that we looked at other people and interact with
I
people.
think that's probably why I had so many problems on Facebook.
Yeah.
I think
It
I
was like
a
you
little
tag yourself at the parking lot of a strip bar. And
Oh,
it's
right.
Like, oh yeah, this is tag myself. I'm buying drugs from my only black friend today. So
Right.
yeah, I don't know, man. I think that... No, I don't know. I couldn't do that, by the way.
Yeah.
I couldn't be completely honest because I have to live in the
but it's
real
one
world.
of those you want everyone's image to be good, of you to be good.
Yeah.
Really, truly, do you want to know everything about everyone? Like I have people, and that's another problem with social media. Like I don't necessarily want to be around this particular person that I'm talking to on Facebook all day long. This is a person I normally be exposed to very little, but
Yeah.
because of this social media platform and me staring at a phone all the time, I'm now having to deal with this asshole all the time. And I don't even
Yeah.
like him, but for some reason we're friends. On Facebook, I would never.
Click the button.
And if I saw this guy like very little, like I would normally do before this social media thing, we would probably be getting along great. But because I have to deal with all of his views in my face all day long,
Yeah.
now I'm like, man, I really don't like this guy.
I take some people off my friend list for that reason. It's not going to make me angry. I just kind of feel sad just reading those posts.
And let me
It's like, I
preface
can't
this
do
by saying, like, I'm not saying I'm any different or any better than anybody
Yeah.
else. I'm sure I've rubbed a bunch of people the wrong way, and they don't want to listen to my bullshit. And I totally get that. And so that's why I unplugged.
With this technology, I don't think there's going to be any privacy anymore, man. Maybe there
I think
isn't right
privacy's
now. I
been
think
gone.
privacy's a thing of the
Privacy's a thing of
past.
the past. It absolutely is.
Yeah.
People don't want privacy, even though they say they want privacy. They don't really want.
You just got to go. You would have to go off the grid to get
Yeah.
privacy.
Yeah.
And then
Have to go in the
everything you did
woods.
before that is still on
Yeah.
there. It's not going anywhere.
Did you hear about this app? And I don't want to call it out by name because I don't want to promote it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's an app that girls can download and hook up to their link to their Facebook accounts, and rate guys that they've dated. So if you're a girl who has this app, is this new to you? You've never heard of
I
this?
think I have heard of this.
Yeah, you
that
can
is
look at this app. Now,
insane.
it's only for girls, by the way.
Right.
That's the idea. They can look you up, and if you're listed, they'll read reviews about you. And it's things like, I'm
So
not
it's like
kidding.
a Yelp for dating.
Yeah, man, and it's things like, and I took real issue. This actually pissed me off when I found out about it, because we
I
laugh.
cannot wait to find it and see what all said about Andrew's.
Yeah. Oh God, I'm terrified.
That's why he's so mad about it.
Yeah, exactly.
These motherfuckers just posted.
Yeah. I got a bad review and now I'm mad. No, my problem is that it's not consensual.
2 stars?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and there's seriously like there's like a 1 through 10 rating. And they'll give you hashtags like 6-pack abs, like good bedroom skills, like things like that. Which is funny, but if this were guys doing this to girls,
Yeah, it'd be
Right,
sexist.
you'd be a complete asshole.
I don't think.
You'd be villainized.
And I wouldn't do that. By the way, I wouldn't do that to a female. I wouldn't
Right.
put like a girl who I've been involved with like up for public review, man. And it just, I don't know. That really, I think on a fundamental level, it's like any kind of very, very personal experience I have with someone who maybe I'm getting to know could be something that people could find out about via app on
Yelp.
their cell phone. And it kind of rubbed me the wrong way, man.
Yeah, it's just there's no privacy.
Very
Everyone
high
wants
school-ish.
everyone wants their moment, so they even think
Yeah.
their opinion about another person is so important that the world has to know what I think about dating.
Mm-hmm.
What blows my mind is just like the fact that people just pretend that they are just so without sin. Like they're so hypocritical.
Yeah.
I know.
Just like cast people down for doing the same shit that they're guilty of doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just ridiculous. It just blows my
Good
mind.
old humans.
So that's what you're doing with social media, I think is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, man. Honestly, I thought I was gonna have like a mild addiction because
so did I.
I was on so. I really did.
I was a little worried,
I
I'll
was
be
on
honest
so
with you.
much, but like as it
Yeah.
turns out, I have been really easily done with it.
Yeah.
I feel free, man.
You're gonna
Yeah,
have
really.
to be my sponsor.
dude.
Josh, man, I'm thinking about taking off
I think
Facebook.
once you
Yeah.
get off of it, and like you're gonna be glad you did.
Yeah. I don't spend a lot of time on
And that's why you
Facebook,
probably
so-
never have a problem with it. But like
Yeah.
people like me, like it eats up too much time.
Right on.
You know.
Yeah, my problem is a lot of it, like, and I've unfollowed almost every human on there, so it's just a bunch of like articles,
Right.
And I
Stuff,
read
yeah.
those articles and share them, hoping that someone else might read them and like learn something.
Yeah.
Who knows?
It's the
And
same thing as a private internet forum, man.
Yeah.
Where it's where people just like it trolls and just like it's blown. Everything's just a
Yep.
fuck this guy, fuck that guy, da da da, fuck you, fuck that, da 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 da. Just negativity.
Yeah,
Here's
their,
one thing
their
to think
opinion
about.
jumps in. Always opinions.
So a lot of people might say you're behind the times getting off Facebook. What if you're ahead of the curve
Yeah.
by unplugging from the social media?
Who knows, man? Maybe 20 years from now, like we look back at people who were like smoking cigarettes, like how the fuck did they smoke cigarettes? And we might look back at them and go, look back at now and go, why the fuck did we offer up all our personal information
Yeah.
so freely? What were they thinking?
Yeah.
These idiots, you know what I mean? So that might be,
Yeah.
how we're viewed in 20 years from now.
Why do we communicate with each other this way? Why are 8 of us sitting in a circle
Yeah.
all looking at our cell phones?
I've been in there, man. I've been in that, and I'm so glad I'm out of it now.
I'm actually not okay with that. I think, again, that's just
Yeah.
another thing that's kind of distancing
Yeah, I
us
have
from-
friends now that I don't even like being around because they're just.
Not off the fucking... I know. off
It's
the
like,
phone.
why are we
It's
even
like,
in the
dude.
same? Like, why don't you just go home, man? So we did the Cards Against. We had a little get together not so long ago where we played the Cards Against Humanity game. And if you're not familiar with that game, are you familiar with that game?
No,
Okay.
not at all.
It's pretty
Basically, it's like
Yeah.
random like terms that like come up and say like I don't know. It comes up with a term and like you answer questions with these like really fucked up things, and it's really funny. But anyways, I'll play it with you one day. But,
Yeah, sounds good.
But we did this little thing where we took everybody's phone, put it in a basket, and put it away. And
Good
so
idea.
like you would focus because otherwise it's just
Yeah.
like
The
you're just not
constant...
into it, man.
Yeah.
And it's such a disconnect. And
Yes, but it's a lot of it's the same as the like hand to mouth. It's like
Right.
People have to do something. People
Right.
have to do something.
and so that's what they do.
it becomes like a compulsion. Just something I have to do.
Yeah. And like I say, I'm no better than I'm being a hypocrite right now
Yeah.
because I was just as guilty of it. I've just finally said enough is enough.
Yeah.
No, man. I mean, I've spent more time like playing video games, doing something on the internet when I could have been hang out with people. So I think everyone, well, not everybody, most people are kind of drawn to that because
Yeah.
there's so much stimulation, there's so much technology around us. And I'm not against any of it. It's just that when we overindulge, we're just completely consumed. We go to this kind of like matrix-like reality of cell phones and internet porn and, I don't know, interactive TV and video games. It just becomes something that kind of separates us from like the real world.
Yeah.
But
Just an idea.
also, I mean, think about way before people had cell phones. It wasn't like, people were lining out the door to go. People that are going to go be social are going to be social. More than
Yeah.
enough people were sitting at home watching, TV all night.
That's true.
instead of-
Yeah. Super
I do
Nintendo
think that, I do think that it's turned some people
Yeah.
that would be out and doing stuff into
Yeah.
people that are like glued to this magic
Yeah.
box.
Yeah.
And then like how funny is it that I know I'm not I've heard this somewhere else. I'm regurgitating something else's speech, but they say we have this phone and this magical box in our possession that we can find out everything that's going on, like why do stars exist, like Google it, it's
Yeah.
there, but we use it to like talk about like Instagram your food.
Yeah, stupid shit.
You know what I mean? And like that's the extent of most people's use.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can
There's a
put
calculator.
Right.
you can put a post on Facebook about like, hey, look, this is some real shit going on in the government.
Right.
And you get like 1 or 2 likes, and then you put
Yeah.
like, here's the sandwich I'm getting over here, and
Or
everyone's like,
or you're a girl and you take a picture like this and like, oh, look at my kitten, and it's like that's your kid taking it. And it's like 5,000 likes. Dude, let me tell you what, social media for females is completely different. I've
yeah,
talked to
yeah.
them.
That's
It's
ego.
crazy.
It's like an ego boost.
Oh my god,
I bet.
it's like even the ugliest old dog looked like woman looked like a bottom of an old boot. Like she's got some dudes that are inboxing her like constantly. Like I get a message like here, there, like hey, I want to do jiu-jitsu or like whatever.
Yeah.
But like these chicks are getting one like, oh you so sexy, oh you so sexy from like all these random people. Like
Yeah.
a friend of mine recently got divorced and like she was telling me like it's crazy.
Oh, I bet.
And she's like, all these guys are so nice to me now, and I'm like,
Yeah.
they're
real nice.
They're trying to like they want to, and then like
Yeah.
These
she's
dudes
like
can't afford a
no,
robot
no,
yet.
and then like she didn't believe me. She thought that like, oh no, they're just being cool. And then like 3 months later, she's like, Josh, they were all trying to fuck me.
Yeah.
That was the whole thing. I'm like, yeah, that's how it works. They're just like throwing that big, they're casting that big net. You know what I mean?
As soon as they can afford
and
a robot.
and on the record,
they
I
will
wasn't
never
calling
mess
her
with you
the bottom
again.
of the boot.
Right,
If she's seeing this,
If
you're
she's
not
watching
bottom of
this,
the boot. Like,
no, she's lovely.
Yeah.
Let's be clear about that. Yeah. It is funny the way you use technology, though, kind of like you mentioned, because like I'm addicted. I love YouTube. I love Google, which is like imagine having like this oracle, like this like master Yoda in front of you who can answer any question you want. And what do you search for? I don't know. Like I want to see kittens do funny things.
Yeah.
To 80s music.
Yeah. But there are actually
Like-
thousands and thousands of videos of.
At the very
Oh,
least,
kids
though,
are huge.
at the very
Yeah.
least with YouTube, like at least, you know, you're getting to see someone's creativity or learning something most of the time.
Yeah.
you
Oh, there's a
know?
lot of cool stuff on YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy. I definitely have spent more time on YouTube lately.
Oh, I'm addicted to YouTube. I'll just be honest about that. I watch a lot of TV just because it's like whatever you want to see. It's that magical.
Yep. And you
Magical
just hook it
outlet.
up. We
Yeah.
hook it up to the big TV, and then whenever I watch, whatever I'm looking up TED Talks or whatever, I can just put it on the big TV, and then I got surround sound and.
How about our instant
Everything.
gratification when it comes to that? Because now, like, if I see like the little thing that says ad, I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
You know, like
15 seconds.
15 seconds. I remember back when, like, you know, before YouTube, where you watch videos on like Break.com or like
Yeah.
all these other like video sites, and like you would click one and you'd literally like go make a sandwich and come back while it's like,
Yeah, and the pictures
yeah,
downloading. You can see one boob, and then
and then but now like I'm like, this is taking like 3 seconds.
Yeah.
What's
Really?
the problem?
what the problem? Yeah.
The wheel.
Kind of spoils you. Yeah. The
No.
loading
I'm not watching
wheel.
it now. How about that?
I don't
Come
even
on.
care.
Oh man, my bandwidth internet access went out for I don't know 2 minutes about 2 weeks ago. I remember this worst 2 minutes of
Nerd
my life.
rage.
Worst thing
Nerd
that's ever
rage.
happened to me. I was just in a state of panic, like my God, I can't see cats on YouTube, like you
Now
know.
he's yelling at the modem. What the hell? One job. You've got one job. There's probably a Korean behind this somewhere, ruining my internet experience.
Oh, the Koreans. Yeah. Anyway, so changing topics, I wanted to ask you about this because you have been involved in professional mixed martial arts for quite a while, and you train with a lot of pretty serious professionals who people will know, like if they follow the sport at all. I know Rich Clementi was your coach for quite a while.
Over 10 years.
Yeah, right on. So I wanted to bring up, and this has been discussed a lot, but I wanted to add kind of a different point of view to this. Steroids, performance-enhancing drugs. And okay, first of all, without mentioning names, about how many fighters are doing performance-enhancing drugs? Give us a percentage. Give us a
Professional
number.
fighters.
Professional fighters.
Anywhere from 75 to 95%. 75 being like giving real low numbers, hoping the best out of humanity. But
Yeah.
probably closer to 85 to 95.
So a lot. So almost
Yeah,
all of
almost
them.
all of them.
And every time I've asked a professional fighter this question, that's about the number I get. And we're not going to call anybody out.
No.
But the thing is, I don't begrudge. Listen, I'm going to go pro steroids
Oh, definitely.
right now.
Definitely.
Now, by the way, I don't do steroids. I've never taken performance-enhancing drugs for competition.
I'm on a lot of
I don't
juice,
plan to. I can see
honestly.
that, yeah.
Big.
If you want the ginger guns.
Yeah. Getting big.
But I don't know, man. Maybe we could look at performance-enhancing drugs in the context of just like sports science.
Yeah.
Maybe this is just one more way that advances of technology enhance what the human body can do.
Yeah.
It could be magic. The problem
Yeah.
is the reason why performance enhancing drugs are a problem is because people do not, Americans especially,
Yeah.
but most people do not know any type or understand any type of moderation. They don't
Right.
understand when enough is enough. We want more, just a little bit more,
Yeah.
and that's when we start having, you know, an enlarged heart. You know, all these horrible things that can happen with
Yeah.
steroids.
Yeah.
Now, if there was like, you know, you say steroids like it's this nasty word.
Right.
No, it's testosterone. Testosterone is a good thing. If
Yeah,
there was a way
very
if there's
important.
ways to administer these types of things in a healthy way by professionals that are actually interested in people's well-being and not corrupt and different things like
Yeah.
that, then I think if it keeps people younger, stronger, faster,
Yeah.
then what's the problem? There is no problem. The problem is in people's instant gratification and lack of knowledge and lack of just knowing when enough is
Inhibitions,
enough.
yeah.
They
Right,
just
cut
think
it
that
off.
they go too far until next thing you know, you've run your machine's done, man.
Yeah.
You just run it into there too hard, too fast to just get these immediate results.
Yeah, well, professional athletes have like doctors. I want to bring up someone specifically in a minute. They have like specialists, people who are absolute wizards kind of at this stuff, and tell them how much to take and how to cycle off and how to take. And I don't know too much about the steroids or testosterone supplements or anything like that, but there are people who do. It can really help you do in a way which is relatively safe, I think. Now, I saw a documentary. This is really good. That was on demand somewhere about Lance Armstrong. Very interesting. And the documentary was filmed by a guy who set out to actually do a movie about his comeback, which is right when the scandal broke. So we had to kind of look at it from a different point of view. Now, I think this is another one of those cases where Americans kind of oversimplified the issue, because what we heard was that Lance Armstrong's a cheater and a liar. And yeah, he did cheat and lie. There's no denying that. But the larger point that I think many people missed is that pretty much everybody in the Tour de France, because right after Lance Armstrong, this is all in the documentary by the way, right after he retired the first time, one of the sanctioning bodies that I guess governs or regulates professional biking did a big anti-doping investigation. And every single guy, every single one who stood on a podium with Lance Armstrong for all those Tour de France races, all got popped.
Yeah.
And if they were to award a medal to the guy who finished clean first, the medal would go to the dude who was in, like, I think 25th or 26th.
Wow.
Yeah, everyone else.
Everybody was doing this, which is why I think Lance Armstrong is one of the greatest endurance athletes of all time.
Right.
Because the way I see it, all the front runners had the same advantages.
Right. And realistically,
as this guy.
how many fighters do you know, or how many other athletes do you know that are on steroids that are never going to fight outside of their hometown?
Right.
Like, steroids does not make you an athlete. It doesn't make you a good, fighter or a good
Right, there's strong
football
people
player.
that come into jiu-jitsu all the time and kick their ass.
Yeah, see, well, that's another misconception people have. Yes, steroids and, any performance-enhancing drug definitely makes a difference. And actually, in the case of Lance Armstrong, he went to this, I forgot his name, it was an Italian doctor who's brilliant at this stuff. And he actually looked at all of Lance Armstrong's vitals, and he figured out, okay, you'll get I forgot the number, like a 10 or 15% performance boost if we give you this supplement, if you give you this drug, this gives you more red blood cells, because there's, in any sport, there is technique, there's training, there's conditioning, and then there's that 10%.
Yeah.
Which makes a difference. But it's not a super serum. A lot of guys think that steroids, which is a very general term, but a lot of people think that performance-enhancing drugs are like these kind of Captain America super serums that'll take any scrawny guy and put you in the UFC or NFL. No. But it does make a difference. I'd say, maybe 10, 15%, which at the highest levels
Can make the difference.
when you're trying to chase Lance Armstrong up a hill in
millions
France.
of dollars on the line.
Yeah, makes a difference.
And your career, your reputation. Yeah.
But and again, it's cheating, but everybody's doing it. I see it as a mutual.
But the only
advantage.
reason it wasn't cheating in the 80s, it's only cheating now because it's been demonized as this evil, your balls are going to shrink.
And I still say that without the proper moderation and being out in the open, I think it's a bad thing, because people are killing themselves trying to get every ounce they can out, because they're just trying to win. And there's no moderation, so they're just doing whatever they can do, whatever they're self-administering themselves drugs.
Yeah.
And they think they understand it, but how well do you really understand it without a medical degree?
Right.
You're doing things to a body that you read on Google.
Yeah.
You did all your work on Google. So I think the answer is have it regulated.
And that could even be but even TRT has recently been banned by
Which I think was a mistake.
A huge mistake.
These guys are now. You have some weird circumstances, because guys that are low on testosterone, and they're just trying to reach normal levels.
Right.
I think that I don't see anything wrong with that. They're just reaching normal levels.
Yeah.
But the problem is that why are they trying to reach normal levels? Because probably, Vitor Belfort, for instance, earlier in his career, he did all these steroids, so now his natural testosterone production is gone to crap. So he has to do TRT to keep a normal level of testosterone. So I mean, is it fair for him to be able to take it because he already, abused it so earlier in his career? Like, I don't know. I'm not the authority on it.
It's also by the time you hit 30, your body's starting to slow down.
Right, and I think that's
So
a perfect.
now-
That person should
Yeah.
be able to do it. You know what I mean? Because they're just keeping their at a normal level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Here's my question.
I don't know.
If we talk about cheating, like, where do you draw the moral distinction between a performance-enhancing drug like steroids or TRT and, say, all the other parts of sports science?
Creatine.
Yeah, or even without getting into that, like, I'm sure you've seen the videos of Lance Armstrong and, like, the wind tunnel with the scientists, like, looking at how, like, the aerodynamics of his movements. Like, what about that?
Right.
Yeah.
Or what about, I know this is going to sound strange, what about just nutrition knowledge? What if I use what I know, what technology provides me for nutrition, for things like eating vegetables, eating fish, eating things that are just generally do enhance your performance?
I guess if I had to say,
where's the cutoff?
I would have to say that the reason that those things aren't a problem is because they don't have detrimental effects to your physical health.
That's true, yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas like with steroid abuse or any performance enhancing drug abuse, there are detrimental effects that can happen to your body. I think that's probably the biggest difference.
Yeah,
So I guess you have to draw that line with will an overdose of this hurt you?
yeah.
But they're also, if you look at the science, no one's ever overdosed on steroids.
True.
Steroids doesn't cause
Right, it wouldn't
like,
kill you, but it would.
Yeah.
But like, but it
mess you up
can
pretty
kill
bad,
your
man.
natural testosterone
Yeah.
production.
Yeah.
Make you grow boobs. Like.
But at the same time, we're also like football players who are ramming our heads or fighters
yeah,
who
absolutely.
are choking it. So
Oh, I don't know. Like I
yeah,
say,
health issues are.
I'm a
little put
supporter
to the side.
of performance enhancing drugs
Yeah.
if they're regulated properly.
Oh man, you had a great story about a guy who fought, I think it was one of Rich Clementi's MMA promotions.
No,
who-
it was in Baton Rouge.
Oh, it was
Rich
in Baton
actually
Rouge.
refereed the event.
Oh, my mistake. Okay,
Yeah.
but wait, just, do you know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about? Okay,
so,
tell the story.
So he
Yeah.
comes out in a rash guard, which you can't fight in an MMA show with a rash guard. So Rich is referee, and Rich is like, you gotta take the rash guard off. And you could tell the guy was like, I don't want to. And Nate Cabby was like, you can't fight with it. He finally took it off, and he was ripped, like in shape guy, abs, everything, and it's gynecomastia, which is
Right.
It looked like he had budding, like 15-year-old boobs.
He had boobs.
Yes.
Now, when you say boobs, like, what are we talking about? A
Yeah.
cup, B cup, give me a...
He was probably a small A maybe. He wasn't huge, but
Not-
it looked,
not,
it
you
looked
know.
like a.
There
it
was
looked
a
like he
boxer that had that. The Tommy.
Really?
Tommy Woodson. He was in the Rocky movie. The
Oh,
Rocky
Morrison.
Oh, the
Tommy Morrison.
Tommy Gunn, whatever.
Yeah, Tommy
that
Morrison.
guy.
He
Yeah.
Oh, he
had
got the
that.
moves?
Yeah.
Man.
It's-
So not to
So
draw...
look, go Google image search him.
Yeah.
So not enough to draw attention.
Technically, you can get gynecomastia from too much soy.
Yeah.
I stay the hell away from soy.
Yeah, soy increases estrogen
estrogen.
and lowers testosterone in men.
Yeah,
so
dude.
that can, if you watch commercials, antidepressants can give you, so there's a whole bunch of things that can.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, I guess it's part of it's regulated and part of it's who's got more money and
Yeah.
who can throw up a whole bunch of money into no Zoloft's good for 2-year-old kids.
Yeah, right.
Trust me, here's a whole bunch of money we did. We
Right,
put
yeah,
in
lobbyists.
research.
Very funny what drugs are legal and not legal.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. You know what I get tired of hearing, though, is whenever you bring up the steroid discussion, which kind of been done to death on
Yeah.
all kinds of shows, but still I want to touch on it. People always bring up the children. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it always comes down to, this is a bad example for the children. That's our primary concern when looking at the NFL.
Yeah.
Or whatever, is that, I mean,
Well, you don't need
stop
to
talking about the fucking kids.
Yeah.
Like, it's not about the kids. Like, yeah.
How about this? Who should be raising your kids? Or
Yeah.
you maybe. You should, not be like, no, you need to be like a basketball player. Be like
Yeah.
LeBron James instead of like, again, they're putting the excuse like, well, LeBron James is going to raise my kid.
Yeah.
So if he's doing steroids, what kind of example is he setting for my kid? Instead
Yeah.
of like them being like, hey kid, let's go do some shit and I'll teach you how a real human should act. They're depending on LeBron James and
I
they're
just-
putting stress on him.
I feel like that's a lame argument.
Yeah.
And what about telling your kids just to not be full of shit in general and just be
Yeah.
forthright about?
Yeah.
I mean, is there something
That's
to?
kind of the approach I take.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Good
There's something
good
to
dad
that.
right here. Yeah,
and here's the last thing I'll say about the steroids. I think really Americans want performance-enhancing drugs in their professional sports, whether they realize it or not. Because guess what? You're not going to get the same performance out of your NFL athletes. out of your NBA games, it's just not out of your MMA fighters. Not gonna happen.
It helps you heal, and if you're
Yeah.
training, like you're supposed to make it to the UFC or the NFL or NBA, like you're killing yourself every day of the week. Regardless, you like wake up and you're like, oh, my knee, I can hardly bend my leg, but I've also got to go to practice. I've got to fight in a week, or the season is about to start. So, steroids is it in the long run? Is it going to help their knee? Yes and no. Because now they're just going to be able to put more stress, on an injured joint, but it does help heal you. That's why if you go to the doctor and you're having a problem, they're like, oh, here's some cortisol. Or,
Boom. Right. Yeah.
Here's this. We're going to give you a steroid. You got the flu. Here's some steroids.
Right.
But
they can put it in our chicken.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And our cows. Yeah.
All the beef you're eating is
Funny how that
jacked
works.
up.
Yeah.
Cows aren't supposed to have muscles. There's no reason.
They do, man. Look like bodybuilders.
You even lift a cow?
No.
Okay, everybody. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.
Enduring.
And for enduring.
It'll get better one day.
Right, hopefully. I want to thank JC for being here, for sharing his thoughts. Of course, thanks to Mr. Josh Mancuso. If you guys like what you saw, what you heard, please repost us. Please tell your friends. We'd like to keep doing this just so long as we have enough of an audience to justify showing up and filming this kind of thing. So appreciate it, guys. Have a good one.
Tell the robot you got in your closet that you're having sex with, too. Maybe it might enjoy the video.
No anal.